Hi Flosstube, it's McCleary, Texstylust. Welcome to my channel. Hi Flosstubies, welcome back. Today is February 1st, 2025, and this is a channel about cross-stitch and quilting and various and sundry other activities having to do with textiles and needlework. Today I'm just going to do an update on some of the things I've been stitching, and I also have a finish, a quilt finish, and then we're going to talk a little bit about fabric organization and storage. So I'm not sure if I'm going to include a tutorial about the fabric storage that I'm doing. I may video that separately, and the reason I might do that is so that I can create a playlist on my channel of my tutorials. I did several tutorials during Vlogmas, and I will include those on there. I just need to go through them and figure out which ones were the tutorials and which were just regular Vlogmas. So I need to do some research, but that is a reason that I may separate this out. But it kind of depends on how quickly this video goes. So I may include it and then just tag it that way. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start out with my one red threads, and as I mentioned in the last video, I have two of those, and I posted an update to those on my Instagram. If you are not already following me on Instagram, it's the same as YouTube. It's Texstylust. You will need to request to follow, and I do go through those fairly carefully because I try to keep out the bots and the trolls. So if I see that your account is associated with other accounts that I know are cross-stitch or quilting or craft related, I have no problem accepting those. If I get ones that don't have anything and it's a private account, I generally do not accept those. Okay, first up is Hortense 1887. This is a pattern that you can get from Creative Poppy and download it. It's a PDF. And I'm doing this on 46 count Cedar River linen, which is Albarium. And this is where I'm at. If you recall from the last video, I had started this on a 40 count, and I really got a thread there. Really didn't like the 100/3s on 40 count. I preferred on the 46. So same color of linen and a restart. I have not backtracked and filled in the days that I had stitched on the other one. So that was about 2 weeks worth. I still haven't decided whether I want to do that because I have a lot of other things going every day. Again, not as important to me when the start date was, but it's going beautifully. I got a chance to put in one red thread of the pink there, or one pink thread. I consider it all red. It's all in the same family. But that's what I'm doing here. And these are the colors of the 103s. I did post, as I said, on my Instagram. I'm going to try to, at the beginning every month, kind of post an update on my one-a-day projects to kind of show where I'm at on that. So that one's coming along nicely. And I've been watching all of the WIP parades, and I am going to do WIP parade. I did not do one last year. I think it's been over 1.5 years since I've did a WIP parade, maybe even longer. And I considered doing that today, but I really wanted to just kind of catch up and talk about what I've been working on because I had a quilt finish and I've been working in my quilt stash to kind of get it organized. So I'm hoping to do it this month. So it may be the next video or the video after that, but sometime in February. Okay, so that's one of the one red threads. And then I have a second one this year. And it's because when my family was here, my son had purchased a long dog sampler pattern for me a couple of years ago. And I really wanted to stitch something for him. He truly appreciates my cross stitch. In fact, he watches these videos, which I think is the coolest thing ever. But so we picked out linen and thread, and I am working on the Templar Prophecy. This is what that looks like, and the black and white, and it's long dog threads. And I started this a little bit before January. I started it when he was still here at the end of December. And here is where I'm at. I am stitching this on a 40 count cedar, vintage cedar plank, which is a lakeside linen, and I'm using a Silks for You, which I have a very large hank. I don't remember how many yards the hanks are, but they're like 30 yards. Is that correct? I don't recall. They are on Etsy. I will put a link again down below. Sorry, I keep dropping that. Of all the different colors. And there's just nothing like, this silk is wonderful. I think the weight of it is the perfect weight for 40 count. It's not too skinny. It's not too fluffy. I really, really like it. But I want to get a big hank of black because black, as you know, sometimes it does not have great coverage. So if I have a really good standard black, I might be able to swap out and substitute blacks in other charts and get the coverage that I'm looking for. But I am super stoked about this. I think it's going to be fantastic. I really like the burgundy and the vintage cedar plank together. I think it looks awesome. So the dragon has his tail and his wings and his head. So next time you see it, I think there will be more of the body. I'm kind of avoiding stitching more of this. It's not hard stitching. It's just fiddly. So I'm going to come down. I think the end of the page is like right about here. And I'm going to go all the way over. And I may just keep going this way and save doing that top filigree for maybe near the end. I have, I believe, a whole half here. So, you know, bed sheet size. And I'd really like to get over to the side so I can take some of this linen and put it away. I do have it slated for another project, which I suppose I could start on it, but I don't like to do that. So I'd like to get that trimmed. Okay, so that's where I'm at on those two one red threads. Although this one, I am doing 2 lengths of thread. So, and they are exactly 18 inches because I use my thread winder to cut the silk. So that's 2 lengths of 18 inches. And that's how far I've gotten. Okay, so that was what I've been working on for those. And then I have also been working on my Christmas Every Day. And I'm up to 5 projects on this. And a couple of people had some questions about how I did it. So I'll show you again. I have the projects listed there. And I put a little number next to the project. And then when I am making the little check mark, I put a number next to it, or you could even just put the number in the thing. Again, however you want to do it, there's no rules. That's just a method that works for me. So I put some more time in on Mary Bell, and this is being done on a 36 count Rin, I believe. Picture this plus Rin. Sorry about that. So I got the house finished and I'm cruising along on this, and I think if I had 2 really good sessions with it, I could probably, maybe 3, probably finish it. So this is by Lori Rippey, Homespuns by Lori, And you can get this as a PDF download as well. And here are the flosses. All DMC, and they're beautiful, beautiful colors. And I have it in this project bag. Okay, I'm going to set this one aside for the moment. And I also put a little bit of time on O Tannenbaum, which is a Brenda Gervais with a needle and thread. And I put a little bit more in on Santa's coat and his belt buckle. So working on that. I'm doing this on a Picture This Plus 36 count, and this is Bramble, one of my favorite colors. I really like this. I think it's a great neutral. And let's see, I think these are the flosses for that. And my friend Linda finished it this year and finished the box and put everything in it. It was so pretty. So hopefully next year I can get that done. Okay, I also wanted to show you that I finished my letters for January. Actually, this was November, December, and this was January. But I think last time I showed you I had the letters in there, but I didn't have the little, it looks like there are maybe squash blossoms in there. So I got those done, and this is ready to go to put in the next letter. Looks like it'll be an N that goes under the T. For Thanksgiving, and I'm doing this one letter a month, and that should get me done or pretty close to done by the coming Thanksgiving. And these are this is my fall Prairie Schooler floss ring. So I got those done, feeling very accomplished. While I was watching all of the WIP parade, I kind of got off topic, didn't I? I started talking about it, and then I got lost. But I know what my next one red thread, or in this case is going to be one pink thread. I had forgotten about this. I started it in 2020. I started this in 2020, right before I retired and right before the pandemic kind of shut everything down. But it's excuse me, it's Rose Quaker Sampler, and it's all these beautiful pinks. Lisa Kindred Stitcher's sister Carrie finished this, and she has it on her wall, and I got to see it in person, and it is just stunning. And where did it go? Oh, here it is. I've only started one motif. That's all I have done on it, and I'm not even sure which way that goes. I think that's the middle. I think this is the top. I think this is the middle. I have a thread hanging, so you can see right there, that's the middle. These are the very stunning flosses. They're all DMC. And this is just another reminder to me of how gorgeous DMC flosses are. I don't think the silks could be any more beautiful than these. So I'm stitching this on a 36 count, excuse me, a 40 count Silvery Moon, which is just a standard Zweigart color. And so when Hortense is done, I'm going to pick this up, and it's going to become my one pink thread a day. And I have it in this beautiful project bag. So I'm really looking forward to getting back to that. So that also makes stitching on Hortense really fun. I think Hortense is probably going to take me 2.5 months, 3 tops, something like that. It's a fairly small sampler. So I know that I'll get a big chunk of time that I'll get to spend on the Rose Quaker. Okay, let's see, what else do I have to show you? I am 1 row away from finishing this crochet blanket for my granddaughter. So that's about all I have left for in the yarn. I'm not going to undo this because it's quite large, but this kind of gives you the gist of what this blanket looks like. I used a yarn called Tutti Frutti, or that was the name of the color. It's a variegated yarn. Let's see, I think it's called, let's see, what's the brand? It's a Lion brand. Here we go. It's just a nice soft acrylic. It's called Ice Cream Big Scoop in Tutti Frutti. And this is all I have left. And I'm using, on Jeanette's recommendation, using a 3.75 millimeter. So it's a little bit smaller, it makes a tighter crochet, but I think this is beautiful. And her birthday is this month in February, so I'm hoping to get that finished probably tonight. And that will go in her birthday box. Okay, so I'm going to pause here and kind of move some things around and talk about, I have a little bit of haul, and then I'm going to show you a quilt finish. I ordered this, what I'm going to show you, back at the very beginning of December, and it's something I've been looking for a couple of years. It's a secondary market type of thing. I ordered this from A-Books, but the seller was in Germany, but the price was so reasonable compared to any of the other sellers that I've been watching for the last couple of years that I took a chance and ordered it, and everything came here, and it was great. It just took from the beginning of December to now to get here. So this is the Cross Stitch Bible. It is by Valerie Lejeune, and you can find them on A-Books, you can find them on Thrift Books, you can find them on eBay, and they'll run anywhere from about $90 to $200 or $300. But I've been wanting this for a long time. I don't remember who first showed it, but once they did, of course, there was a run on them, and they were really hard to find. But it's this fantastic encyclopedia of sorts of many, many different alphabets. And I think I got it for about $45, so about half of what the lowest price was of every other reseller. It's used, but it's in good condition. Doesn't have a bad smell or anything. It just took a while to get here, but I am so excited to have this in my library for reference and for recharting. It even has, I was just noticing this morning as I was kind of flipping through it, it has letters on the diagonal, which I think is really cool. To be able to do that. So very excited to have this. And so that's my haul this time. Okay, so the next finish I have to show you is a quilt finish. Everyone who, if you will follow me during Vlogmas, saw me working on it. And I didn't get it done in time to put on my granddaughter's bed to in the cottage bedroom, but that's okay. Once I sat down to work on it, it took me an afternoon to get it finished, but I truly did not have an afternoon to get it done before she got here. And then I would have needed to quilt it as well. But it is done, and it is called Peppermint Twist. I can only show you a little bit of it. And I did post pictures of it on Instagram. The kittens were helping me put it together, so you know how that goes. So this is a twin size. I make all of my twin size quilts with about an 8-inch drop all around because I like to cover up the bottom of the mattress. And so I had to kind of adjust it to make it bigger than what the pattern called for. If you need those adjustments, go ahead and drop me a comment down below and I can give you that information. This is the backing I have picked out. In fact, it was the backing that I saw first. I picked up all of this fabric except for the background fabric when I was on a shop hop with my friend Barb in the Phoenix area in the valley, and this is the fabric that jumped out at me, and then I picked the coordinating fabrics from that line. So this will be the backing. I don't know when I'll get it quilted, but when I do, I will of course show that again, but I'm really excited to have gotten that finished. I have another one that is not quite as far along. I think all the blocks are done, but I need to put it all together. That's also for the cottage bedroom. That is in Halloween, so I may pick that up next just to get it done. I have 2 other quilts that are kind of in the same place, maybe 2/3 done, that are for the prim room, this room right here. I may pick those up next, but I kind of want to finish those but there's several other quilts that I want to get started as well. So we'll see how that goes. I'd kind of like to get these done and off my plate and kind of out to the studio to get quilted, and then I can feel like I've got a clean slate sort of to start another quilt, because there is a Blackbird design quilt. Actually, there's two. One of them that I started as a quilt along with when Olivia and Celeste were doing theirs, but I didn't get very far. And that's the Raven. And then, but the other one I want to do is from one of their quilt books. So also as well, I have been plugging along on my Hexagon Star a Day. I did get behind during the holiday season. I just, with everything I was working on, plus Vlogmas, that kind of fell by the wayside, but I'm back to making them. I did spend a couple days cutting out more stars, and I post these every morning. Well, not every morning, every day at some point in time on my stories on Instagram. So if you want to see the star that I made that day, you can find it there. Okay, so that was the quilting related stuff. Again, I need to move things, and then we're going to talk about what has really grabbed my attention for the last 3 or 4 days, and it revolves around storage and organization for quilting fabric. For the last couple weeks, I have been feeling a little bit under the weather. Nothing terrible, just kind of, yicky, worn out, and running a little fever, kind of on and off, but nothing terrible. But what that meant was I was watching a lot of YouTube. And I was catching up on a lot of content providers where I really hadn't had time to watch their videos, because I was doing a lot on my own, and then family was here, and then, working on many things. So during the last couple weeks, I've been catching up, and I was catching up with one of my favorite content providers, and the channel is called Little Green Bean. And if you haven't watched her, she's definitely worth watching. She does tutorials. She is going through and talking about studio organization and tool organization and that sort of thing. And she covers the gamut. She does bags, and she does quilting, and she does embroidery. She does a lot of things. And I think she's been on YouTube for maybe about 8 years. So I don't watch all of her videos. She does put out a lot of content, which is great. But I was catching up on what she did recently. And she was doing a review again of her fabric organization as part of a series that she just did recently. So I watched that again because I'm always interested. That is one of the biggest headaches for me, is kind of keeping everything organized. Now, organization in itself, I can do, but my organization so far, I've really never found the perfect type of organization. And my problem is I have a lot of fabric, and particularly in later years, I've been buying smaller cuts. And when you buy smaller cuts and you're stacking them together, it's not easy to see all of them. So she was talking about, storing things on fabric boards and fat quarters and other things. And she was showing some containers. So it was a really good time to kind of review that. And because I already had a lot of the things that she was talking about, I just never really put them into use. So one of the containers that she uses is this one, and they're from Brightline, I believe. I'm going to put a link down below. You can find these at Target. They don't sell these particular ones on Amazon. Target's the only place I've seen, and I already took the sticker off. But they are 4 by 6 by 12, and they are a great size container to put fat quarters in. Now, even prior to Little Green Bean doing this, I had saved a video from, I don't know how many years ago, maybe 6 years ago, of someone who did just like a little video short showing how to fold and put them on there. So I'd already had the idea, and I had, excuse me, I had bought some And they were just sitting in my sewing room. I think a few other floss tubers like Katie So Tattered, she has shown them as well. So I knew that they were tried and true. So I pulled them out and it's like, okay, this is a good time to do this because the stacks of fat quarters and stuff were just getting it out of hand in my studio. So I sat down and I started putting those in. And then the other thing she showed was how she folded and put things on a board to do kind of like half bolts of fabric. And I was like, oh, well, I've got some foam core. She talks about using foam core. And it's like, well, I've got some spare foam core. I'm going to cut it up and I'm going to give that a whirl. Well, I did give it a whirl and I didn't really care for it. Not that it didn't work. It works fabulously. And if you go and watch the videos, again, I'll link them down below. You know, she's like pinned it into the foam core, and these are really sturdy, and these are acid free, and that worked really great. But for me, I have way too much fabric to be taking up even that much space for a board for my fabric. So I'm going to talk about what I did. But let's go back to the fat quarters. So I have been folding all my fat quarters. This is part of, I think I have two of these that are my French General. So I keep a lot of my favorite lines grouped together. And this was just a bunch of fat quarters that I had for French General. And here's, sorry about the noise. Here's another one. And the great thing about these is that they stack together. So I know a lot of you have probably seen this, but this is kind of what it looks like from the side. This is what it looks like from the front. You could put removable stickers on here, however you wanted to label it. I kind of have things placed differently around in my room. So I know, and I would know anyway, just by looking at that it's French General. And then just to show you, so this is not French General. I have Laundry Basket, Betsy Chutchin, and a little bit of Blackbird. I put these in here and they are going to get squished down, which is okay, but this is acid-free paper, which is an offcut from the project cards. And just to show you that this was a fat quarter bundle, it fits in there as well. So if I stack this one on top, let's see if I can lift all of these. It gets heavy after a while, but these fit nicely in storage containers. So I have Billy bookcases. I haven't measured everything out, but I think that doing 3 of these, and even with a little bit of headroom, that I can put, let's see, this is 6. I could put at least 4, maybe 5 across the width of a Billy bookcase. Don't quote me on that because I really haven't started storing them in the bookcase yet. I've been folding fabric for 3 days, and I only stopped because I ran out of the boards I was using. So let's talk about those a little bit. Actually, let's hold off on those. I'm going to talk about a couple of other containers that you can also find at Target. They're the same company, and I only bought one of each because I kind of wanted to try to see how they were going to fit. So one of them is a 12 by 12, and I don't know if I'll use this very often. I think that this is going to be useful. So this is the quilt for the prim room I was talking about. And so this is actually two quilts. Oh, there you go. There is, it's Bright Room, not Bright Line. There is enough fabric in here for 2 quilts plus extra. What I wanted to see when I got this was how well that the 12 by 12 would stack with the 6 by 4, and they will. They will stack, but you can stack. I'm trying to lift it up. This is all really heavy. Here, this is what I'll do. Here's an empty one. Pardon me while I adjust there we go. So I can put 2 of those on top of this, and they will stack. You can do it one way, you just can't do it the other way because these have a lip. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know. Anyway, so I grabbed one of these because I wanted to see how they worked. And I think I'll probably get a couple more just to have, you know, a nice sturdy tote to throw a project in and carry it around when I'm working on it. But I don't know that I'll have a lot of those to stack things, because I typically keep my quilt projects in the snap cases that are the 12 by 12 that you can get like at Michael's. Okay. The other one that she showed that I think I will probably buy at least a couple more of, they are also 12 by 12, but they have drawers. So again, this is kind of heavy. I'm going to pull this out. So the drawer has a little bit of space above, and you can set your layer cakes and jelly rolls. And these drawers come all the way out. They have a little bit of extra room. So like in here, I have a lot of my charm packs because there is room to put them in there without them getting squished, with a little bit of extra room. And then you can also do a layer cake. So this is another quilt that I'm going to work on, but there's a layer cake, there's the extra fabric. And these will also stack on each other. So if you buy multiples of the ones with the drawers, they will stack. You can also purchase, and I only saw them online. In fact, I bought all of these online. I did not go into the Target store because I bought a lot of the ones for the fat quarters. But you can get these, and I think they're a little bit taller, but they are the 12 by 12, and that will also stack. In fact, if I pull these out, I can stack these together. So the outside of this this container is larger, slightly larger than 12 by 12, because it has the 12 by 12 drawers in it. And you can stack the big one on top of it, but not the other way around. Again, I hope that makes sense. So there, for me, there's usefulness to have the things with the drawers, so I can just pull a drawer out, whatever it is. Again, I'm probably just going to use it for layer cakes and fat quarters, and put that drawer in. This will also be extremely handy for paper, scrapping. So I'll probably buy some of those for scrapping as well. And they were fairly reasonable. I don't want to quote the prices because it might be different in your area, but I will put the prices that I paid online in the description down below. But you can log on to Target.com and you can find those. Again, they are the Bright Room clear acrylic stackable things. Okay, so let me get that out of the way. And so the other thing I wanted to talk about was the fabric storage for yardage. And so what I've shown you was for like jelly rolls, layer cakes, charm packs, so the pre-cuts, and maybe little projects that you could put together. Fat quarters, of course. Did I already say fat quarters? I'm not sure. Anyway, so this is for yardage. So for me, the yardage would be anything from half a yard to about 3 yards. I probably would not put more than 3 yards on the boards. I would instead use the large bolts to put that on there. So years and years ago, way before I seen this video, I watched a video, probably 8 or 10 years ago, on fabric storage, of storing your fabric on comic book boards. And comic book boards are boards that people who are in the industry and buy and sell and collect comic books, they slip them into the comic book and then they put it into a sleeve to keep the comic book in pristine order for collecting, buying, selling, trading, etc. We had a comic book store. Well, it's still there. It's a very well-known comic book store in Olympia. So I stopped by and I bought a big pack of like 100 of the comic book boards. They run about $25 a pack for 100. And I brought it home and I had these great intentions of course, starting to sort and organize my fabric. And I never did it. That was when I was still working. It never happened. Then, of course, I, retired, moved, pandemic, blah, 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 blah. Anywhoosie. So when she was talking about putting them on the boards, so I tried out, using the foam core, and it's like, oh, that's nice, but no, that's taking up too much room. Well, let's see about the comic book board. So I started folding things on the comic book board, and I didn't really like how it looked. The edges of the comic book board were kind of bending, and it kind of looked messy to me. So I played around with it, and I came up with a different method for me, or that's going to work for me, folding my comic book boards, folding them on the comic book board. And the comic book board, some people will say they're too flimsy. They are not too flimsy. They are great. And the great thing about comic book boards is that they are also acid free. So I don't have any concerns about them damaging my fabric. So anyway, here's what it looks like when I fold mine on here. And here, I'll undo this. I'm going to show you, this is what the comic book board looks like. Now, they do come in different sizes. I think this one is like 7 3/4 by 10, something like that. But they come in different sizes because comic books came in different sizes. So there's at least 2 sizes I know of. And they're very close in size. It doesn't really matter which one you get. For me, I'm just going to make sure I'm still getting the same size. So this video is getting long. I'm just going to kind of give you an idea of how it's looking, but I do think I'm going to do a separate video to show you how I'm folding these on the boards. But there was one more thing I wanted to share with you. So this is about 1/2 yard of fabric. If I pinch it, like if I'm going to put it in there, that is less than 1/4 inch. Somewhere between 1/4 and 1/8. That's all the space is going to take up. Now, why is this important? Because I have things neatly stacked. Well, the problem is I have a lot, and even when you stack it, things kind of get smushed underneath and you don't see everything you have. And if you have it all in, or at least for me, if you have it all in an orderly fashion and you have it stacked and you can see what you have, a lot easier. And for me, I'm going to use it more if I can see that I have it. I'm not going to be going out and buying more. Not that that's going to stop me. I'm still going to be buying fabric. There's no illusion about the fact that that's going to continue to happen. But I can put things together. I can put collections together. Just by the width of what I have folded, I can probably by now, because I folded so much already, tell you how much is on there. So for instance, here is a grouping of, this is laundry basket quilts. So I can tell you that this one right here is a 1/2 yard, and that these 2 are yards, and this is about 3 yards. And again, that's about the width of what I would put on one of these half boards, and after that I would put it on a regular sized fabric board. Which, by the way, if you have yardage that you want to put back on a board, almost any of the big box stores and maybe your local quilt store will give you those, because once they're done with them and they've checked them out of inventory, they're typically pitching those into the recycle. So like my local one, I tell them, it's like, hey, can you collect about 25 for me? And they call me when they're ready, and I just go pick them up. So I've got a really good collection of boards to fold my fabric on. So here's how they look. I fold mine over. I don't leave the top of here, let me back up a little bit. I don't leave the top of the board showing. I have folded it completely around, and it's a game changer, a huge, huge game changer. I know that this is going to work really well for me. I am so tickled with this. I can't tell you how tickled. So I've been folding and folding and folding. So here's some more. This is also a laundry basket. And then I ran into a problem. It wasn't a big problem, but I had to think about it a little bit. And I'm telling you, I am so excited about what I figured out for myself. I'm just super excited. So using the same method, well, let me back up. The problem I was having is I buy fabric cuts, usually anywhere between a third, it's usually half, 3/4, and a yard of fabric to make bags. Sometimes it's just project bags. Sometimes it's, because I can get I can get two, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can get 4 project bags out of 2 half-yard cuts. For my regular project bags, the ones that have the vinyl front. And then I have some left over and I can, make other things. And I also make like the Mondo bags, and I make the Poppins bags. And then I also have the little tiny bags that I like to make. Anyway, so I had these collections of sorts. So I would find a fabric with, 2 or 3 other fabrics where it's like, oh, I'm going to make another Poppins bag, which is what this one is. And it's like, okay, I don't want to fold them on separate boards because I'm going to forget that they went together. So I figured out a way to fold them together. So this is for a Poppins bag. This is the outside. This is probably going to be the handles. This is going to be inside, and this is trim. So I folded them all together. Now, what's so cool about this is that even though they're folded together, if I had to or wanted to, I could still unfold this and pull off one of these fabrics to use for something else. But I have them folded together. I know I can remember at least that much, that this was for a Poppins bag. Big, big game changer. I was so excited when I figured this out. It took me a while to figure out how to fold it. So again, this is for potentially a Poppins bag, a smaller one. This one also for a Poppins bag. Now, what you see is one main fabric is on the top and the bottom. It's just how I have folded it. This was for project bags. So there's 3 fabrics there, even though it looks like 4. Same thing, project bags. This is definitely for another Poppins bag. There's a viewer out there I know who asked me about making a Poppins bag to sell. Now, I will tell you, I'm not going to make them to order, but I may make a few extra, and I will let you know first before it goes on the market. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. I'm super excited about this. I cannot tell you how good it feels to find a method that I know is going to work for me for organization. And so I have been pulling all the stacks of fabric out of the different corners and off the shelves and stuff, and I started folding. And I ran out of boards, so I made a big order that should be here Tuesday. So I'll be back to folding fabric. I just received my order in of these for my fat quarters. I think I have enough, but I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to be ordering some more. If you order over $35 at Target, it's free shipping, at least right now. So I am super excited and to get that done. And I will take you along. I'll keep showing you how this is going for the organization. I'm also waiting for Billy bookcases to come in at our local IKEA. My local IKEA is 3 hours away, but I will worry about that later. I can still stack these and wait until I get my bookcases in. So I'm pretty sure this video is long enough, and I am going to do a video, maybe, I'm not sure if I'll film it today, but within the week, I think I can tell you that I will do a video specifically on how I'm folding the fabric, not only just on the boards, but also for the little fat quarters. And that's it. That's what I have for you today. I hope that you're all doing well, and things are crazy right now. It's really crazy. So please be kind to each other, and I will see you soon. Bye bye till then.